Isha here, short for Ishana, also known as AKASHIC. I felt like spending a little time here telling you guys some mystical stories. So let's set the intent and get the ambiance set here. It's going to be a beautiful little session. Many mystical stories, many mystical happenings I've experienced, and I'm going to tell you a few stories right now. So kick back, enjoy the Akashic experience. May all your obstacles be removed. Divine protection within and without. I wanted to wait for this evening to have more of a mystical vibe. But this will do. So I've been in the presence of 3 known, world-renowned, enlightened masters. One is Dr. Shiva Baba. Another is the Divine Mother Amma, who I've been with 3 times in this life at different occasions. And Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, my master who gave me everything. I've also had different experiences with other masters that have come during dream and in meditation. Now, when I met Dr. Shiva Baba, I was actually seeking out Wayne Dyer. He's my favorite author. I love Wayne Dyer. He inspired me to the depth of my core. That man was so inspirational. So I was living in California at the time, and I was seeking out Wayne Dyer's tours so that I could go meet him and just tell him how much I love him and how much he has inspired me in my life. Talking tears pouring from the things that this man did. So I was looking up Wayne Dyer tours to go and meet him. While I'm looking that up, it pops up on my computer screen. Wayne Dyer's guru, who gave Wayne Dyer the meditation, which I've been using for over 20 years now, to manifest literally everything that I've been able to manifest. Dr. Shiva Baba, Wayne Dyer's guru, who blessed Wayne Dyer with the quantum sound of in the meditation, which Wayne Dyer popularized in the United States and globally, and also had a book that he wrote and dedicated to Dr. Shiva Baba called Manifest Your Destiny. It's a beautiful book. Dr. Shiva Baba is coming to California. I'm living in California. I'm researching Wayne Dyer. The meditation I've been using from Wayne Dyer, which is the most beautiful quantum meditation I've ever experienced, came from Dr. Shiva Baba, who actually explains the story of how the meditation began. He was visited by a divine being called Nandi before he was going to give a seminar. And Nandi explained to him that human beings have this innate capacity, which at the moment they're ignorant of. It's their sex energy combined with a certain technique in a flow within the form used with the quantum sound. This is how beings in heaven and in the heavens manifest. So Dr. Treya Shiva Baba comes to Burlingame, California, and I booked my tickets to go have that weekend experience. Absolutely fantastic, a completely divine experience. I'm in front of this enlightened master who is now blessing and teaching me with mantras, mystical mantras. Om Guru Namah Shivaya Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. That mantra and those words can bring money to you without you even asking for it. Not just money, many miracles can come through that mantra. I was there when he revealed that first and gave the discourse about the quantum atomic sounds in our physiology related to manifestation. Namah Shivaya. Na is the sound of the earth element in its quantum form from the unified reverberating field. The sound responsible for earth is Na. Water is Ma. Shi is fire. Va, air, and Ya, Akash, space. He explained the story in the mysticism and the actual truth behind these quantum sounds, which are the building blocks of reality, of consciousness, of existence, which make this earth, the water, the fire, the air, the ether, the Akash. He also blessed me with some very, very deep karmic removal techniques and sacred objects to use to remove deeply rooted karmic imprints. One of the mantras is Thirunilakantam, Makaral Shivaya Nama, which I've been using for years. That was Dr. Treya Shiva Baba. I got a rose from that seminar and I brought it home, and it withered and it became dry. And I didn't put it in water or nothing. It was just dry. And from this dead, dry rose, a brand new shoot, fresh green shoot of life was growing off of it, started growing off of it. That was quite miraculous to see. One of my friends, Scott Gibson, he's a Mason and also associated with Dr. Treya Shiva Baba. He sent me a picture one time during, I think it was Muruga's Skanda Shashti, of the veil he had in a candle that he had lit for Dr. Treya Shiva Baba, which had melted itself into a honeycomb. Miraculous happening. The veil had bent. The divine weapon of Muruga had bent, and the candle in which she had lit had melted and formed itself into a honeycomb, which you could see the sacred geometry of this melted wax. Miraculous, miraculous photo and happening. Thank you for sharing that with me, Scott. Next, Divine Mother Amma. Divine Mother Amma. If you've never been in the presence of Amma, I suggest you look up her tour. She travels around the world still. She's the hugging saint. She's hugged millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people. I've been with her 3 separate times in this life. First time, I was meeting her, I literally cried for like an hour and a half before she even entered into the hall. That's how powerful her frequency affected me. Long story short, she hugged me. She spoke the mantra into my ear. And we had those experiences. I've been with her 3 times in 3 different ashrams so far in this lifetime. Now we're going to get into some of the really mystical stories with my own master, Sri Nityananda Paramashiva. I'm just going to jump into it. I'm not going to waste your time. There was miracles that had to happen in order for me to get from Chicago in order to India. Money appeared. My visa that I needed came in like record speed. Everything lined up. Everything just lined up in order for me to get there. It was miraculous. So May 5th, 2017, I'm in O'Hare Airport in Chicago, preparing to take off to land in India. There's so many mystical miracle stories I could tell before that, but let's just get into it. I land in New Delhi Airport. I get off the plane. Never been to India in my life. 20 hours in the sky, land in New Delhi. I get off the plane, I go out into the airport, I recognize the airport. Instantaneous deja vu. The AKASHIC is manifesting in my consciousness. I realize and recognize everything about this airport. I've been here before. Mystical happening. Spend a little time there, get back on a plane, fly to Bengaluru International Airport, Karnataka, South India. Get off the plane. I recognize that airport. Another deja vu. The Akasha is revealing itself to me. Then from there, I take an hour and a half, 2-hour cab ride through the villages and through India, and I arrive at the temple monastery at 11:10 p.m. I believe I probably went through those gates of the monastic order of Nityananda Pitam at 11:11 p.m. I'm pulling from moments in the Akash now, okay? There's not like a flow to this. So anyways, about hundreds of us from around the world are now gathered in India for this happening with Sri Nityananda Paramashiva. To kick off the program in the hall, the kids, the spiritual prodigy saints that are there, who are already initiated and awakened and expressing miraculous spiritual powers, start off the orientation program being completely blindfolded, blacked out goggles, other blindfolds. They can't use their physical eyes. They're not using their physical eyes. They begin walking through the crowds of all of us that are there gathered, putting malas, the necklaces, on people without the use of their physical eyes, walking through everybody. Third eyes completely wide open. That was the orientation to the power of the third eye and to kick off what was about to happen. Needless to say, imagine you're sitting there in the Rajya Sabha, in the royal hall, among hundreds of others who have gathered from many different countries around the world, all sitting in the same place, witnessing these child prodigy spiritual saints without the use of their physical eyes, moving through like little aliens without the use of their physical eyes, putting malas on people, touching, healing people, scanning people's bodies. Just imagine the mystical ambiance of sitting there, getting one put on you, and just knowing that these beings' third eyes are completely wide open. There's no way they can see. Trust me, I put the goggles on, blindfold, all that. There's no way you can see. It's impossible to see. And they did it not just one time, and not just one kid. All of them. So that's how that started. My journey in India. The next story. There was a female yogi, Maha-Yoga, who was the head of the yogic science department. She was appointed the head of the yogic science department for good reasons. After her initiation, she was able to manifest miraculous happenings. So during one of our sessions in the Rajya Sabha, the Royal Hall, this is after we had departed from the first initial orientation with the kids and having that experience and, coming to meet and greet each other and the souls that come. We are recognizing we are in an enlightened ecosystem. This is a separate time. So we've converged again on the Royal Hall. Maha-Yoga is giving the demonstration and orientation on the yogic spiritual powers, elaborately described in the scriptures, might I add. She said there are beings in other dimensions existing right now that have objects there that can teleport them and bring them to this earth plane as gifts. Long story short, she went into meditation. This whole time, we're checking her mouth. We're feeding her bananas. She's eating. She's drinking water, swishing it around, eating, swishing around water, drinking, to know that there's nothing there. There's nothing there. We check her mouth. She goes into meditation. She starts pulling jewels and gold from her mouth. I got to hold these objects in my hand. Where did they come from? Where did they come from? Imagine you're sitting there in front of this female yogi who you're feeding. She goes into meditation. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she starts taking jewels and gold out of her mouth and placing them in your hands to hold. Where did they come from? One coin had Lakshmi on it, the goddess of wealth, and another coin she brought out had Ganesha on it. Not to mention the jewels that were coming out. On everything I love, I'm telling the absolute truth of what I saw and experienced. I held these objects in my hand that apparently came from a different dimension, from beings that are alive and well, that brought those, teleported those objects here for us to experience. I held them in my hand. So did other people. We were all there to witness it. Jumping to another story. It was during a lunch break. The kids had been initiated into a different spiritual power, the ability to look and read through other people's third eyes. I was intrigued, very much so intrigued. So it was during a lunch break. We were about to take a lunch break. And the spontaneous moment caused me to look over at the boy named Abby. He was about 7 years old. I said, Abby, can you read through me? He said, yes. I said, okay. Spontaneous, out of nowhere. Just a hard-nosed scientific proof right there. No preparation, no nothing. Put him on the spot right there. Can you read through me, Abby? Yeah, I can. He was sitting about 5 feet away from me. I wrote 2 words on a piece of paper. I was looking at him. He read both of the words with 100% correct. He read both of the words, 100% accuracy. There was another time where we experienced an initiation in the hall, and we were just playing with spiritual powers. And Swamiji said, the silicone of the phone responds to consciousness. I've seen beings, it's nothing to us now. We've seen it all over the world. Beings moving objects with their consciousness through the state of oneness with it. Oneness is the miraculous power. Oneness is Shakti. I've seen beings move objects with their mind, with their consciousness, I should say, like nothing, just across the table. Moving objects, cracking coconuts with just their consciousness. But Swamiji said, the phone will respond to you. Charge it with your third eyes. So we sat randomly and concentrated on this phone. We charged the phone with our consciousness. What a mystical happening. Jungle-like setting, South Indian moon. Hot as can be. Monkeys. Cows walking through the temple monastery. I had 2 run-ins with scorpions. A snake during a nighttime initiation. A beautiful train going through this white cliff atmosphere, jungle setting, in the temple monastery that I don't know how old the banyan tree is. It's got to be thousands of years old. It's a sacred banyan tree, apparently the same tree that Lord Rama sat under and worshipped Shiva. I had the great fortune of circumambulating that tree and completing this lifetime in energetic form under that sacred banyan tree. So many miracles I experienced there. Another happening. Now, I can't say any of these are the absolute truth, but I can express what I experienced. There was a moment through my third eye, I was witnessing Shiva and Shakti and their light bodies in the light world. I'll just leave that one there. And there's another time that through my third eye, I was seeing Muruga, who in different stories is known and said to be the Lord of the Pleiadians. I saw their planet. I saw them in a celebratory dance of bliss and love that you could not imagine, of the honor they have for Muruga. He had very long hair, braided, and it was wrapped around his body in this vision. And he had the veil with him, a staff. On the staff was a pine cone-like structure, which was blazing a light that was unlike any other light. Bliss. Bliss. These beings were blissed out. I just remember the ambiance is the devotion, the celebratory energy of these beings. They loved this being, and he loved them back. Many times after my initiations, I could be anywhere. I could be walking through a crowd in Chicago, pouring tears, just walking as if nothing is happening. Tears are pouring and pouring, bliss, bliss, pouring, pouring. I must have done that 100 different times in different places around this country in the United States. Out of nowhere, just pouring, pouring, pouring. Another story. It was an evening initiation in the Rajya Sabha. We were going through a process. I don't know if I was seeing through my third eye or what, but I witnessed this being. To me, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, on my soul, on God, on everything I love, on existence, consciousness, and bliss, it looked like a dragon. It looked like a dragon in the hall. Very tall, very, very tall being. But it was floating or walking just so gracefully along the wall. And I was like, that looks like a dragon. That's what I remember from that moment. It had like an extraterrestrial hue to it. But in my consciousness, those are the words that came. That looks like a dragon. 9 months after I returned from India, January of 2018. I was living in Chicago. And from January to February, I had over 100 mystical awakenings and deja vus in less than a month that I recorded on paper. I stopped recording them. The awakening got very intense. Miracle after miracle after miracle after spiritual, mystical happening in my life. Some people call them idols, statues, but there's a process called prana pratishta, where cosmic energy is infused into it by an enlightened master, an avatar, an incarnation. Let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. I've seen statues drink milk that you offer to it. The milk just evaporates and disappears. On my soul. On my soul. On God and everything I love, existence, consciousness, and bliss. I've seen it with my own eyes. So, needless to say, I've lived a very mystical life. I've had a very mystical existence. Even from a child, being visited by extraterrestrials and experiencing many different mystical happenings. Of course, everybody goes through pain and darkness and struggles when you enter into this world. Nobody is special because you have a worse story than somebody else. That's why I choose not to speak of it. I choose love, light, divinity, positivity. And my life is not finished. I'm right here. I'm still right here. I'm here. I have a long ways to go. And I'm working very hard in the spiritual realm, in the AKASHIC, to make this world as beautiful and as powerful and as protected as I possibly can with the time I have here. I truly believe I have come here for a new frequency. I truly believe it in my soul that the golden age frequency, the new world, is manifesting. And that's why I'm here. I can hold tremendous spiritual energy and radiate it. And we all can. With that said, if you've made it this far, thank you for sitting in the Akash with me and listening to some mystical stories of Ishana. Ishana is my spiritual name that was given to me through the Shiva Diksha initiation in India. It's a beautiful ritual, and those who know, my flower fell on the Ishana face. Which I was then blessed with the name Ishana. Victor Ishana Shivam, to be exact. Hope you enjoyed that mystical session. There are many more to come. We're just getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up. For the past 3 years and 4 years now, beginning 21 days into year 4, hours and hours a day radiating for this world and for all the souls here. So, blessings to all of you. We are manifesting the golden age. This world is going to be very different within the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be very different. It's going to be very benevolent, very beautiful, reflect the highest principles, qualities, expressions of this divine cosmos that we are. See you maybe tonight.